The violent conflict between the Hells Angels and a rival gang may have been retaliation for a previous murder, as law enforcement continues to investigate the group and hopes to dismantle its structure. Amidst this chaos, one name consistently appears in police records, a name associated with fear, violence, and power: Necati Arabaci, often referred to as the Godfather of Cologne. Necati Arabaci is considered one of Europe's most dangerous criminal figures, a man who lives by his own rules. Arabaci rose through the ranks of organized crime by exploiting legal loopholes and creating a brutal empire that spanned multiple industries and countries. In the 1990s, he used his security companies and nightclub connections in Cologne to establish dominance in the red light and nightlife scenes. From there, his influence expanded throughout the Ruhr area, then all over Germany and eventually across Europe. Arabaci formed alliances with the Turkish mafia and South American suppliers to expand his operations, despite being banned from the Schengen area due to his criminal history. Videos of his appearances have recently surfaced across Europe, raising questions about his ongoing influence and the effectiveness of law enforcement efforts to stop him. Arabaci's rise began in the lawless gray zones of the 1990s nightlife economy, where prostitution operated in legal ambiguity and criminal groups enforced partnership taxes on businesses. Eastern European women, often trafficked and drugged, were exploited while Arabaci built his empire. By his 20s, he was controlling large parts of Cologne's underworld, using fear, violence, and strategic alliances to expand. He joined the Hells Angels, gaining access to muscle, protection, and a vast criminal network. Through his control over bouncer crews and clubs, Arabaci was soon managing a small army of men who helped him dominate Cologne's lucrative nightlife. Those who paid for protection were permanently tied to his organization, with ambition that far outweighed any moral constraints. Arabaci moved into the adult entertainment industry, juice bar chains, and other legitimate fronts. He used shell owners and hired managers to keep his name off official documents, staying under the radar. His empire grew rapidly, controlling entire districts through extortion and calculated business moves. Eventually, Arabaci's wealth became too great to conceal. In 2002, following a large-scale police raid targeting organized crime, Arabaci was arrested. He faced numerous charges, including human trafficking, extortion, and running a criminal network. His trial attracted national attention, and he was sentenced to 9 years in prison. However, incarceration didn't stop him. Authorities wiretapped his prison cell and discovered he was still issuing orders and even planned revenge against the prosecutor who put him behind bars. The prosecutor eventually fled Germany due to threats and fear for his family's safety. In 2007, Arabaci was released early under the condition he would never return to Germany. He was deported to Turkey, but instead of laying low, he expanded his operations internationally. By 2008, he led the Hells Angels' expansion into Spain, focusing on Mallorca, a party hotspot and strategic smuggling hub. His trusted associates, including the Yousafi brothers and infamous underworld figure Frank Hannabuth, helped him establish a powerful presence on the island. Arabaci also founded the first Hells Angels chapter in Turkey, forging links with heroin suppliers from Afghanistan. He diversified into legal and semi-legal businesses, including fireworks and security, while maintaining an international web of influence. Tensions began to rise within the Hells Angels, particularly between Turkish and German factions. Arabaci's leadership style and cultural divides led to violent clashes. In 2013, a brutal internal assault marked the beginning of several charters breaking away from his control. Despite being banned from Spain, Arabaci was allegedly present in Mallorca to oversee key operations. In 2013, Spanish authorities launched Operation Casablanca, arresting many of his associates, including Hannibal. Surveillance confirmed Arabaci's deep involvement. Even under legal pressure, Arabaci remained elusive. In 2018, Turkish special forces raided a compound tied to him. After he refused to turn over suspects in a double assassination, they seized weapons and arrested dozens. But Arabaci was again released shortly after, due to lack of evidence. He's believed to possess high-level connections, including within Interpol, who may have warned him about investigations. His network allegedly extends into politics, law enforcement, and even professional sports. In 2015, a controversial photo emerged showing Arabaci alongside several known criminals linked to violent incidents. These associations reinforced his status as a central figure in the European criminal landscape. Arabaci is often criticized by traditional Hells Angels members for not fitting their image. He rarely appears in biker gear and avoids the group's public rituals. However, his ability to operate outside of tradition is precisely what makes him dangerous. He's been spotted in Monaco, Vienna, Spain, and even Germany despite travel bans, often using vehicles with Swiss plates, indicative of his ties to money laundering networks. Arabaci has already amassed wealth, influence, and near total freedom. But he isn't content. His goal appears to be nothing less than domination of the European underworld. The question remains, how long can he stay ahead of the law? He represents the dark evolution of modern organized crime, fluid, transnational, tech-savvy, and backed by deep-rooted corruption. His empire, while under scrutiny, remains intact for now. And so, the rise and reign of Necati Arabaci remains one of the most chilling examples of how power, fear, and influence can stretch across borders unchecked by law, from nightclubs in Cologne to criminal networks in Mallorca and beyond. His story is far from over, but for now,